So how should we be bubble cycling? Because it's happening too slowly.
So, like I said, walking out main and taking damage, you can take, 300 damage and then just back off. Let your Ana heal you. You can do this a couple of times, like once or twice, and try to call a target on where you want to go. So then you can call that you're jumping and use your bubble cycle, and then you can kind of move your team and position them for the fight. So in theory,
Hmm.
Zarya has a hard time contesting this for main. So if you work a pinch and you send Zarya into right room, now if you do this, you have to know that she can be rotated on. So your Zarya needs to be calming with you at all times, understanding that if they collapse, then that's a pinch. And then if your Zarya can work to here and pinch around and then bubble you as you jump in, then you still get the same effect of the bubble. Instead, your Zarya is actually in a place you can do damage and you can commit to the fight. But generally, if you're not trying to commit to a fight, you walk out main like you have been, take damage, back off, then call for the Zarya bubble, jump in, cleave, and then you can exit like normal. But the problem is you guys are just working on the cleave. You're not working on soaking damage, and it's taken a minute 43 to build nano when technically into this comp, if you do it correctly into what they're running into an ash and stuff, you can build this in a minute with just a mediocre, just farming nano.
Like,
So
sorry, a good way you want to like see it and look at it as is you want to do the bubble cycle in such a way that with each bubble you get some purpose out of it, you get some space, you get information out of it, and the whole time while you're doing it, your Anna is able to be in a safe spot while she's healing, while your monkey's taking space, while he's getting information, while he's drawing some of the resources very slowly, and that whenever monkey chooses to engage, the bubbles that you have used, the healing that you have done allows Azaria to be in a spot where she can engage with at least like 70% charge. Because if she has 70% charge, one bubble at the start of the fight, then another bubble in 5 seconds, she's a very strong mid fight carry. So she becomes a really good nano target, or Monkey is as well.
Okay.
I mean, does that make sense with him like speaking on it like that? Or
Yeah.
is there okay.
Okay. So basically, same thing, but rotate at the same time to put people in better positions for the next jump.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I see what you mean too, because the Zarya wasn't in position to actually do anything when we went in with that.
Right. So how do you attack this point in monkey comp?
Um, somebody else, go.
I shouldn't go either, so I will say it.
Wesley, you go. You're the off tank. What do you
Yeah.
want to do?
Uh, I don't know anything about the game, but I'll take a shot at it.
Well, so
Uh,
hold on. You cannot know anything, but how do you want to play this? Like what makes you get value on your hero, right?
for Zarya, like probably rotating around and then getting somewhere where I can beam down, uh, beam down the people when Monkey jumps in.
Okay. Uriel, have you taught them 3-2-1s?
I've been trying to for the last 3 semesters.
Okay. So generally you want to take Zarya and then your Ana and Tracer and you want to pull them under. So you want to bring them through this side and out this back hallway, and then Monkey and Echo Mercy can jump point. So it's called a pinch. Again, and what this does is by you rotating through right side, it's gonna pull their team over onto point. And then the rest of the team, usually Echo can play main or play right here and fly up. Your monkey can choose to walk through here and take damage. This is another choke point where you can take damage from. Generally, most teams will shoot you through here, so you'll either need to 3-2-1 bubble cross and monkey drop shield and cross, or you'll need to have monkey take the brute of the damage, again giving you guys a way to charge a nano. And hypothetically, like if you wanted to play this correctly, you would take one dry fight poke here in main, let your Ana get some alt charge off your monkey, and then you would start rotating right. When you rotate right, your monkey's gonna stand about like right here, using the pillar for cover, gaining information, and he's gonna call a 3-2-1 jump once you guys are set up. So then when he calls 3-2-1, you collapse onto the point and you start your dry fight. You shouldn't use any alts. You shouldn't copy or mercy here. Your goal is to get out one alt from the enemy team, whether it be this, or this. It doesn't matter because you're taking a dry fight and you're building alts for next fight, unless you tempo them. But this is not a position where you can tempo them, so you have to take a dry fight and hope to burn an alt.
One other thing. Okay, so this is like we don't have like nano or primal, and that's why you're doing this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So there used to be a comp on Anubis that we played a lot when Uriel was around with me. And it was basically a double win condition comp. Uriel, I think he was there for this. I don't know if you remember it, but it consisted of monkey, nano is your first win condition. Your second win condition would be one of your DPS players. So you would use like a Sombra. And the way it works is your monkey and Ana should be on the same cooldowns with their alts or fairly close. Your DPS that you're playing, so Pulse Bomb here and Zarya, is your second set of win conditions. So considering that you don't have either set of win conditions, you have to take a dry fight. So the way that this works is you block these two out, and this is say first win condition, even though that these two are actually first win conditions. So hold on, let me fix that. This is second. This is first. So what I mean by win condition is fights that will, or alts that will win you the fight. So Nano Monkey, Primal Monkey, these two farm off each other. That's your first fight to win, like you did on first point. Then if you had the alt here, or you had a pulse bomb, that's your second set of win conditions. Meaning if you had either alt, you can commit one and then alt with Mercy or Echo, depending on as needed. These characters right here are just bonus alts, basically. Their job is to alt off the win condition alts when you need it to clean up a fight or put more pressure on a fight if they alt. They're kind of used to counter. But your first engagements for shot calling alts should either be a Zarya Grav and a Pulse Bomb. Like you can pulse multiple people. It's not always ideal. You can also call to pulse a single target. But that's a win condition because now you're in a 5v6. The other team is obviously down one. And then Nano Monkey. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you understand what their win conditions are?
Pull dragon or sig dragon. Yeah.
Yeah. First.
Rally supercharger maybe if you want to combine those. But both are good
So
on their own.
they don't really have a second one, but their outlier is BAT because Windows just used for pressure usually.
Yeah.
Their second one would kind of be a group of 3 for their team. It would be like if they rally brawl with supercharger, or if they bob for space for anything. Like you know that this is a pretty big alt and you don't want to commit into it, so it's considered kind of a win condition, but not really because of how just Bob's an AI. So who
Okay.
alt tracks? Does anyone alt track?
So Arc
We-
usually does it. I'm not really good at alt tracking, so I don't do it. But yeah.
I keep track in the back of my head, but I let Ark do it because he needs like the practice. So usually I'll like correct very specific things, but he mainly does it just so he can get the practice in.
Right.
Because I'm not allowed to do it, or I'm not supposed to do it.
So you guys are kind of staggered with no clear plan, and I can kind of see it. Jacob or Rare, do you like normally call like how you want to engage?
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Okay, so what would you call here?
I think I was calling to rotate left the bubble, I would assume. And then once we're there,
I'm not
go
like
with
not like in this game like what you did here. Like from where you guys are set up, like what would you call like right now?
right now, rotate
Yeah.
left with the bubble. That's probably exactly what I was saying.
Okay. But that's just you. You understand that there's a core and then you have a tracer. So unless you go into the map knowing what like tracer needs to do, you should also be thinking of what you need tracer to do for you to take space.
Okay.
So what would you want tracer to do into this situation?
Scout where their DPS are playing if she can.
Great information.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Go ahead.
So yeah, you literally always don't have to call dive targets as a main tank. Like one thing that I've always preached is your main tank needs to basically be the command and the rest of people are pawns. And then you have a secondary caller if they die to finish target calling fights. But you should always keep reminding your team, like if they're not giving you the information you need or you're not getting like if they're just running off, like you guys are a group environment, you should always have hold each other accountable, not necessarily flame anyone or anything like that, but you should always hold your teammates accountable and say, hey, maybe do this so we can get this information and make a call off of it.
Okay.
So your Zarya and Ana are actually moving to the left. You're trying to get your Zarya. So what do you guys do wrong here?
The timings were off. We called to go in, and our Anna Zarya weren't ready. The monkey and Echo jumped in way before the Zarya and Anna showed on the left.
Well, maybe if my Overwatch would load, but so yeah. Oh god, that was terrible. So 3, 2, 1. This right here, imprint it into your brain. Don't count sheep when you go to sleep. Literally count 3, 2, 1. And when you hear 1, just think of going. But that also comes to you as Monkey, especially Monkey, you should always be asking your Zarya, are you ready? Are you in position? Can you like it takes a matter of seconds, but it will save you a fight. Like right here, I'm gonna slow this down so we can look at it better. So we start moving our Ana Zarya through under. Our echo flies up and our tracer's on left. Your tracer should be calling out this pillar stack and then should be understanding where this person is based on shield, or we should already know from previous information. So as we go through, the stack's still high, your tracer's scouting it. Your tracer gets spotted. Your Ana Zarya kinda get like spotted out here by the Hanzo. So like they're delayed and they
Yeah.
get sonared and they should be calling this like They should call anything like we're sonared, we're seen, there's people right, anything to let you know that you need to rethink when you call your engagement. So Sig even commits here with a shield. All you have to say is an off tank, Sig shield right. Your monkey's then gonna know that there's people stacking there. Your echo goes up, and luckily your tracer pulled Ash, or otherwise this is a very, very easy headshot. We copy Orisa, and we Mercy Beam, and we commit. But the problem is that, oh, wrong button. Your ult that you're trying to win fight with just got booped. So that ult just became irrelevant off one single ability here. So the better thing to do is have Monkey engage first if you're gonna do this. Distract the Sigma so you can ult freely and take space, because now you just gain negative space with this ult. Your Monkey's in and you commit right. Monkey, instead of committing right, this is a 2v1. You've already split the Sigma. With Zarya bubbles, this Hanzo should die almost immediately, and you should be turning to help the fight point with ult.
Okay.
So we commit 3 to Hanzo, and we're already out of our win condition ult that we're popping for it, and all that they've used is window, just because of bad placement and bad target calling. And they just clean the fight up.
So I have a question.
Mhm.
If we were saying, so if part of our plan is to pinch with Zariana left, right, and
Mhm.
they're getting like, I mean, in this case they weren't, so to speak, like forced out, but like if they're getting pressured to where they can't get to where we're trying to jump, like what should we do in that situation?
So if you have a Hanzo and Sigma holding your Zarya over here,
Mm-hmm.
you should know that you and Echo and Mercy can all walk lower here and make the pinch happen here. All you have to do is when you jump here,
Mm.
drop your bubble, and they're blocked off from all healing and resources from their team. Now
Okay.
you take a 5v2 fight. If they break your bubble, you have cover here, and you still have your Zarya and your Ana to back you up. You're still in your heal line of sight, and you still have a DPS with you, and you're blocking with Monkey Bubble.
Okay. And then one other thing, when say they're trying to contest like our Anazaria when they're crossing into that left area.
Like back here.
Yeah, like right there. You would bubble
Uh-huh.
rotation, right? And that's it?
Yeah, you can bubble rotation this.
Okay, cool.
And then so the thing is about it is you can actually stack right here. And you can start taking poke, and your Ana can heal you, and then they can bubble rotation across. It's just all about micromanaging to benefit your team.
Okay. Makes sense.
Uriel, you have anything over that fight?
Not so much. I think just the biggest thing there is an issue this team has had is not knowing when to calm down. And that fight, it wasn't necessarily a favorable fight for you guys. So in some of those situations, it's just play a little slower, play the next 30 seconds, building your own ults, building your resources, slowly taking space wherever you need it. And then whenever someone makes a mistake, having the resources, having like the calm mental and the decision making to do one, two, three things, like first this and that, then that. And not going in right as you get to the choke, right?
I have one other thing. So if what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, okay. If we have ults that aren't win condition ultimates, like Mercy and Echo, and
Yeah.
we don't have our win condition ultimates until next, should that usually just be like, okay, dry fight next? Or
On Anubis specifically, 100%.
okay, but on other
But
maps, not always.
I'm not your coach, so that's like that's up to Uriel how he wants to play it, but that's how I've always coached everybody. Is Anubis is a win condition alt map very heavily. Another map, say like a control map where you can copy and brawl with an echo, it changes things entirely. So
Okay. Cool.
your win condition alt cycle maps are Anubis, um, Gibraltar, Numbani. Those are the three big ones. Numbani's kind of like on the bottom of the list, but the two main ones that if you want to play the Monkey Ana, this is one, and then Gibraltar is the other one.
Volskaya second is a big one. Same with Hanamura second.
Yeah.
So
So
is it generally like when you're playing Mokiana that in those situations, or
it can be in any comp that you look at it, but the Monkey Ana comp is just a very, very heavy like alt cycle comp.
okay?
And what I mean by like I've said it, but just to like you two are paired, you two are paired. You two want to use your alt together. They never want to overlap unless it's Tracer throwing a pulse bomb in backline. That's the only conditional. Like your Zarya should never alt with you or Ana.
Hmm.
Unless you want to switch it up and nano your Zarya. But from what I'm seeing, your Zarya builds charge slowly, so it'd be more beneficial to just pair it as its individual alt for a fight turn.
Okay.
And I don't know you guys, and I'm just coaching off of what I can see, so um it but the big thing would be like, so let's go over ebb and flow. I know that we've barely done anything so far and I've talked a lot, but it's just a lot of basics of starting to like coordinate as a team. So have you ever went over ebb and flow with them?
Not necessarily. Maybe like a few times early on, but I've tried to talk to them about tempo and knowing when to give things up, when to take things, and how to play like that resource war.
So ebb and flow is just a fancy made up word for push and pull basically. If you have an alt that pushes or takes space, you understand that the enemy teams, if you're pushing this bar, you understand that it's going to go back if you use a monkey alt. Then if they counter alt back, you understand that your bar goes this way. If it would be to like here is the border, and if the bar gets to a border, that team dies. So the way that it works is, say you commit an alt for space and the bar is even. So it's a 6v6 fight straight off the start. Say you commit an alt and you push their bar backwards, they may counter alt and push this bar back even by committing an alt like rally or something like that if they lost one to this alt. That being said, that's when your separate alts come in, like your Mercy and your Echo, to then re-push that bar back. That's the easiest way to understand push and pull with alts, but it's completely different. That goes way in depth, and it's something that you guys won't get into until a lot higher SR. Yep. So, oh, mother. So again, you pull to peel your back line, and then you just leave everyone exposed out here in the middle instead of applying pressure to their core. You're constantly leaving your core to make a backline play instead of brawling their core. Like you're getting almost no ult charge for this, and you're committing ults. Basically, you're probably gonna lose this fight again if I had to guess from how it looks.
Be easy on him. His brain is old. He's kind of a boomer.
Thanks, Uriel.
Of course, anytime, old man. But one thing to keep in mind with like your core positioning is if you're committing a monkey jump, or if you're committing going anywhere with the monkey to like split off the backline or to get any value like that, is you want to make sure your record doesn't overextend, and whenever they do go in or whenever they do decide to do something, that your divers or monkey tracer, whatever it is, are able to like fall back and help out.
You get held on this point, don't you?
No, we don't.
I want to skip through and see the cap.
They're kind of like every other team, Tyler, where they're very good at brawl.
Okay.
Brawl go bird.
Then this isn't a good map to review Brawl on, so I don't want to look at their Brawl here and critique it too much, but I do want to look at attack or defense. So what's your fight plan here and what's your win condition on your comp? Okay, so you're trying to play off your ball then, right? So we played Tracer in defense. Why not pair the Tracer with the ball on attack if we want to play Tracer here? So it's honestly just better to pair those two together and then let them roam together, and then you have your core again of say this is your Tracer player, so I'm gonna mark them out, and you have your core. And they play together, they rotate together, they stack together with Sig Shield, they poke together. That's the group that plays together, and then you two, we'll say if he was Tracer, are the ones calling engagements for slam, for maybe it's here, they rotate, whatever. You're calling your slam discords around the core. Like the comp that you have, it makes you a solo outlier, but the core has to play around you from what you're calling. And it's a lot harder to do as just ball than it is with a ball tracer. Yeah. So Tracer's taking right lane, and all she's doing is just pulling you away from the fight plan that you wanted to do, which was slam sight lines right now. So that's why if you have ball tracer, you win that lane and then you clear it and then you clean up main. So you don't want to shoot monkey until he commits resources, but what do you consider a resource? One or both? Okay. So if a monkey is jumping for space and a good monkey will always understand that he's never going to use his secondary resource of shield until he's forced to. So if you don't shoot him, he's just going to continue to cleave you. Only monkeys that are panicked and not familiar and comfortable will preemptively bubble. So you're saying don't shoot him until he commits into the team then? This is a 3-2-1 call, and I know it because I've coached these two. He's walking main to jump here, and he's calling which target to go on before he jumps. He's gonna say go on Zen or go on Hanzo, and this tracer is already committing and staring down that target. Watch how smooth this is to open up this fight. They both land, and he's ignoring Sigma. He's gonna walk forward and continue. And automatically the target that was called before the jump happens is down because they pinched. One comes from flank because we gave this lane up and let Tracer have this. And then Monkey jumps through choke. He literally walked up. So this is why you said don't commit on Monkey until he jumps. Monkey took all this space. He jumped from here without being touched. This is a lot of space to give on Anubis because it can let people rotate through here and it can let people rotate through here. Especially if you've already given up this, so you already know that this is theirs and now this is theirs. And they can have all of this as well and make a pinch. Like, you see how much of the map that you've given up? So if you remember, like, we talked about, like, the whole dry fight or, like, peeking chokes for information, that's what they did. Is Monkey kind of peeked the choke and then, like, walked up, seen what he needed to call for his tracer, and then jumped. So, like, that's what not damaging and taking pressure and chokes does. Like, it just gives whoever shot calling on the other team all the information in the world.
Okay.
And this is scrims only. This does not translate to comp because comp's a bunch of monkeys.
Mhm.
So you see how they rotate everyone through here?
Yeah.
Like, you can do this if you want, and then Monkey's just gonna jump backline and bubble off. But it's still better to pinch. So they got a pick, they walked, and they've walked all the way up to here. You see where Monkey's playing? It's the same spot where I said if you went over the top through main, it's that pinch point. You have cover, you're in the line of sight. He's always in the line of sight of his Ana, in the line of sight of his Zarya, and now he has all the space in the world. and he's just going to either hold space or call a dive. So how do you counter this, what they're doing right now?
With what we have right now, or in general, like.
Just with what you guys have. So they say you're alt tracking proficiently and you know they don't have ults. And I'll give you the top down view of how do you want to take this? What do you want to do here?
Um, maybe. Well, we would want to force Monkey out if we can, but it's kind of hard to do that because he is support. Or at least make him use like a resource so he can't dive. How to do
Okay,
that?
so let's talk about space control.
Okay.
So we're same tank comp as them, right? Same healer minus the brig. So what you can do is you can commit. Oh no, we're on ball. We're not a monkey anymore.
Yeah.
So this makes it even harder. So your job is to kind of roll through and displace without like dying. You're gonna need a bubble here. You're gonna charge your Zarya as they walk and take space. And then your Zarya is kind of gonna guide your Zen or whoever's with them to force Monkey out each way. Like forcing Monkey back and around is better, but he's gonna have jump, so it doesn't matter. So forcing him out through this corridor might be okay in this situation because you're gonna force him back into the team. You can roll through and be with your team. It's all about taking this box back. Like you want to force them back so you have time for your Echo to come back and be your main damage source. And all you need to do here is they've taken this space, they've taken point. So you need to force them back into this corridor and make them wait for cooldowns.
Okay.
So instead of forcing out, Monkey jumps. So there's nothing really you can kind of do there. Like Monkey was ready to make this engagement no matter what. It's why Tracer was coming off of point. She's going around and she's going to commit with Monkey. But it's a little out of sync. So you commit into their support line. Instead, like if you see this Monkey jump, like your main goal should be starting to peel for point
Okay.
in this situation.
So what does peeling for point look like here? Because what like is it better for me to like go for the monkey or like the backline like I am? To
You have
distract.
no one to go backline with you.
Okay. So I wouldn't want to do
So
that.
yeah. So like I said, this is why this doesn't make sense to me. Like if we like Tracer and attack like Uriel said, why don't we like it on defense? Because all it does is make your life really hard. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you don't get to play ball how you want. Cause like you want to go for this backline, right?
Yeah.
But you have no one to go with you. You're single-handedly now you're distracting 4 people, which is really good, right? And we've trans on point, so we're probably going to be okay. But it means that you get less value on ball. Now your Echo's coming out, but your Echo's going in a corridor where she can't use her key abilities to fly or move around, and they're not with Mercy. So it's not as good as having the Tracer, in my opinion, anyways. I think the main thing that you guys should take away from this defense, and I wouldn't go doing this in your national tournament unless you're against a team that you feel comfortable to practice it against, so you can maybe get a little experience on it. But I think that you should be on Tracer on defense here, in my opinion.
Okay.
Uriel?
I like Tracer a lot. I mean, if you're playing the Hanzo, your goal in the comp isn't to really like dive and like take fights fast, but rather to play slower, play more pick, and play sidelines angles and play opportunities off those arrows.
Now, if you had a Sig, I could completely understand playing the Hanzo because your Sig Hanzo can pair together. But you have no displacement. And what I mean by displacement is like a shield. Your displacement is your roll through and slam. And if they block sightlines from your team like this monkey's doing, your whole displacement of how you want to fight in chokes just went out the window. But if you have a tracer, you can still make pinches. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just my takeaway from what I'm seeing here.
Okay.
Oh. So we committed trans, you got out, but now you're being targeted, and our team is really pushed back in low. So this becomes a pretty unoptimal situation, but I want to see how it plays out. Nano in the back line. Also, Jacob, don't think that I'm necessarily picking on you on this VOD, but it's just main tanks have a lot to do with how their teams play in a scrim.
Don't worry, Tyler.
It's so
Jacob has a
funny.
fucking
Literally,
steal.
everybody says that, but I really don't feel like I'm being picked on. This makes sense. You're good.
That was a pretty good grab. You cut the Zarya out if you could commit to killing it. This is just chaos.
I love 2CP.
So what I'm gathering from this is there's a lack of target calling. And Ball, you are kind of the target caller in Zarya. Especially in this comp, like Zen can target call with Discord, but generally you guys want to be the ones target calling. So whoever Zarya is beaming, whoever you're slamming. And it shows because we went through like 3 fights on this point, and like they still have 5 here. Like we're not cleaning the fight up. Like what target calling does is it will let you select a target, and who say you're calling this brig here. Then if this person here, Tracer, is jumping onto that brig, do something called echo calling. And all you're gonna say is brig, brig, maybe back corner or side wall, something, or and then if say Lucio jumps on brig, and then call whether they're low or brig low, and just get in the habit of communicating with each other. All it has to be is one brig or brig low, even if you're not calling that you're on them, but you see it and like you're diving to it. It just reminds everybody what the target call is of who you want to finish up, and it's so crucial in 2CP so the fight doesn't draw out.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good cleanup though. Good job. You guys played that bad.
Yeah, this isn't one of our brightest moments.
Yeah, I can tell. Panda must have been asleep on this one.
I think we all were.
Okay, so I think we've generally seen most of the things to see of this map for you guys to work on without going into too much advanced stuff. Cause I know some of you guys are like kind of up there and then kind of a mixed bag like Uriel said. So the big things to take away from this map is remember to always communicate with your teammates. Call 3-2-1s of when you want to engage and where you want to engage. Always make sure that your main tank and off tank are communicating, especially when you're setting your Zarya up. Work on alt farming with Ana and Monkey. Monkey not so much, you did okay. It was a little slow, but you're still learning, just be more mindful of your Ana. And try to take a little more damage while gaining information and chokes. Peek out, turn, take a little bit of damage, let your Ana heal you, and then take 5 seconds, let cooldowns come back, and then plan your dive. Make sure we're setting our Zarya up. Like that's the main thing that I can't stress enough, especially if you guys run into this map and you need to do well. Make sure your Zarya is always in a spot that they can benefit from, because they can be a devastating factor in your comp if they get high charge. Like Uriel said, they are a strong mid-fight carry, and they can carry a dry fight better than anyone on your team. So just try to be more mindful of your off tank, especially in 6v6 when this goes 5v5, it completely changes. But right now, you guys, your tanks, you've really got to work together with each other. So
Right.
what kind of mode do you guys struggle with? Or what do you actually, we just did something that I think you guys struggle with on that map is 3-2-1. So you said control center was good for Li Zhang.
Li Zhang, I think would be good. We played some like 6-man and some Rush, I'm pretty sure. So
Okay. Let's look at that. I'm gonna see, did you guys win this map?
no, we lost it.
We were close to
Okay.
winning every map, and then I'm pretty sure we
Yeah.
choked it.
Okay,
I don't
so
remember for sure.
let's talk about 6-man and how 6-man wants to play. Is May here?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Okay, so May, what is your goal in this comp?
To wall off a specific person and look to burst them down. Usually they'll end up being the main tank since they'll be ahead of everybody else.
Specific person or specific area?
Yeah.
So let's go into this a little bit. So generally you want to wall off the front line so your Rhine can go. So Yuri, I don't know if he was around for this. It was Arba, but we always went over wall first. If you wall first, you have the tempo, and it means that the backline has to break the wall. Now it's not May versus May, so but still walling first to initiate the fight will set the tempo and get you guys rolling. So who else is here? Spencer's here, but you said he's not playing, Uriel?
Yeah, I wasn't playing.
No,
Okay.
Diva.
People that are here
I'm
are main support, off tank, main tank, and flex DPS.
So let's hear from the main support. Are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so what do you want to do in this comp?
I guess speed my Rhine whenever Holden gets a good wall, or like whenever we have an advantage.
High charge sin.
Does your Ryan call for you?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Usually
So
I'll,
you should
I'll be
always.
more like go in, but
So yeah, that's what I'm getting to. It should always be like go in, go in, go, or a target even. Like back to the target calling. So if you say like if we may wall here and say Ryan's out here, and you say Ryan, 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 Lucio, that means that you should be speeding your team through. So
Okay.
is Ark here?
no,
No.
unfortunately.
No
Okay.
hit scan, no flex support.
Okay, so
Symbols here.
no flex support and no hit scan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Wesley, what do you want to do here?
eats fire strike and then some of the junk spam. I think
So what are you more comfortable on, Diva or Zarya?
Diva.
Okay, so you're a Diva player. So let's talk about space, because space is important. And you can walk your you can walk this way. You don't have to take this. So it's all about space. So this is something that I've said even when like some of the people on this team over here were playing 4 or 5 and I was helping them. And this is something that I learned from people that was coaching like winning OD teams and contenders, is this area is really good to have. So you see how Junkrat is looking to take this as an off angle? That's where the majority of spam is going to be coming from, is this main area. Yeah, you're going to have a fire strike here, but a high elo team will not send their junk through this point. They're going to send it here and they're going to off angle you. So you matching that, you're going to be able to push this out and take all of this space. Like this area here, like if you can own this, you have such an advantage in Brawl. Because we're not calling the 6-man because it's not 6-man, it's Brawl. Because you have Diva. So if you own point, huh?
What is that
Yeah,
notification?
what?
I've never seen that. You've played for more than an hour. Go experience life.
Oh yeah, I don't have that off.
What?
So owning this means that it shuts this flank down immediately and it controls this area, especially with your diva. You should win this junk or push him out to force with his team. And then you're so close to just group with your team that you're not spreading, you're not staggering, you're not doing anything crazy. So always be mindful, like look at their comp, send your Rhine or Lucio up this way, and then Diva can take main and then flight path up. And then just make sure you're not gonna get flanked. I wanna see how this plays out.
That's so funny you say that, because this is exactly what happens.
Well, you know why? It's because this person got coached the same way that I'm teaching you guys how to play this, so. So, we're fighting, we turn our backs to the flank, right? Like, we haven't acknowledged it at all. As soon as this comes out and you start seeing these mines come from your diva, you gotta be contesting this, like, that's like your number one priority. So I wanted to go over like taking first fight here, but we didn't take first fight correctly, so it's hard to do that. Maybe we can get it on another map. But the one thing we did take away is this area is good. So remember that.
Very helpful.
Uriel, do you have anything on that?
No, nothing that you didn't cover. But looking at this, NPC kind of threw by going there, but he also did.
How
But
do you why do you think he threw?
because in my head, junks always stay white, but
No.
that's all.
So well, I don't want to get into that with them. I just want to see them play their thing. All I'm gonna say is what he said. If junk plays here in white and then continues to spam, like Diva's setting in the main spam, and then but if you take this space, then you can be right there to eat main spam with then now having this area and information. That's all. So a good thing to note is this junk is always staying on off trying to shoot your backline. Like he's aiming to play off off your angle, Diva. Like he's trying to avoid you at all cost. So if you're in a 6-man comp with Diva, especially on Lijiang and they have a junk, make sure you're calling it out so your Diva knows where they're at so they can try to mitigate damage. Also, who walled the window?
The man?
I know, I'm just saying, like, we ulted, right? We committed an ult for space, but then we walled it. Like, it's just so counteractive. Also, that brings up a good point. We're in Rhine Bap. Do you call for the window at all?
Yeah, I called for window
Yeah,
flash
he
check
did.
here.
Okay. I
We've
was
been-
watching other things and didn't see it. I just want to make sure we're practicing that.
Yeah.
Alright, so they won 2 fights. And we're at 40%. Would you guys start to panic here, or what are you guys thinking coming out of this fight?
We're thinking ults, so like, um,
Simult. I
yeah.
think our call was something about Simult into like May.
Okay. But so let's talk about fight planning. Like, what do you want to do? Like, yeah, we're calling sim ultimate, but how do you want to use it? Like, what are you looking for out of each ult?
We want a Simult ult to get as much space as possible, and then after that, we want to look to force out the diva with the space we made.
They don't have a diva.
Oh, did I say diva? I meant just yeet this male. The male. I'm used to teams having diva.
Yeah.
Just yeet the male at them once we create the space.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what.
That was the idea.
I'm pretty sure I do yeet the male pretty far. I don't remember.
So it looks like we might have called top, then rotated main.
I think we got scattered.
So our divas taking a lot of poke, and Ryan, you're starting to take poke, but we're still going forward. So take a second, diva, realize junk's here. This is what Uriel said. Don't throw your face at things, right? Like, don't just keep throwing yourself at it. Take 5 seconds, breathe, give up 2%, heal up, then commit to your fight. Like, you guys are just running at things unnecessarily here.
Okay.
Like, Diva's not full health here, and we're committing Diva into side lane, which they're forcing this back, which is good, but regrouping, taking 5 seconds, we've already shown a push, so they're probably gonna back anyways. You're gonna have 3 to 5 seconds to just regroup for a second, slow down, and go in this level-headed.
Okay. Yeah.
So we sim wall, we walk right. Diva is still kind of like foddering where to go. It kind of looks like you're indecisive, like you wanted to go here, and then you want to go main. So always just have like a clear plan of like how to commit with your team. Good shatter block, good mail. So the only thing I have to say is Diva, you not committing here and then sweeping to commit. You were delayed getting into fight. Like if we walk here and then still you have a chance to still walk on this junk from an angle and push into fight, forcing junk out. But Symbol's there, so it's not that bad for us. They beat. Ryan loses shatter. And we lose fight. Why did we lose fight?
Because we didn't stabilize after getting picks.
Okay, what else? I just brought it up.
Uh,
So, Diva, right? We committed to a fight without stabilizing before going in. Our Diva had 2 bars of armor instead of full. And Diva thought go high, push junk out, but we sim-walled it. So Diva wraps main, and Diva's taken out of the fight for an extra couple seconds, whether it be eating damage or peeling you for when Ryan pinned you. We wasn't playing Brawl. We were playing a 5-man push with ults, and Diva wasn't there to complete the Brawl to dive. Diva stayed out of that fight for quite some time without getting any value. I'm gonna back it up. We're gonna watch it a second time. So, Ryan, you go high, team walks out. This is where Diva takes poke. This is where we go to commit. Diva starts looking here, she commits all the way up. Eating junk, peels back, and now we sim wall. Our team's already committed, and Diva is the furthest person from the fight when Diva should be with you, rather eating or making space and pressure, but we've rethought it. We've gone back. At this time, we've already lost our sim. We need to be stabilizing and call to play around sim wall. You're pinned. So now our Lucio is peeling to help you. Our Diva's with the rest of the team looking at main. They're still on the side of the sim wall where their core is, so they're prone to junk damage. Diva gets obliterated. You go down, almost. We commit lamp. We block shatter, which is really good, and we have a really good Mei ult here. But we haven't stabilized, like you said, from the start. We've gone through 2 engagements now, pre-engagement and first engagement, without stabilizing. Baps up top. You have your Mei ult here. You've got people in it, but you can't clean up anything. We're focusing the Rhine, which is okay if we get him down. We commit to Rhine, but our BAP's dead now because we still haven't dealt with the junk on the off angle. This person was not looked at nor pressured at all from the first engagement, and we didn't play around our sim wall that we used for space. The team didn't commit through the choke, so they sat on this side, allowing a window junk to basically throw everything he can into our backline unpressured.
One thing I have to say with that, off the comment of not playing with your sim wall, is before you even sim wall, you want to have an idea in mind where you want to put it, right? And look how we put down the sim wall here, where you guys pushed into. You pushed into our team onto the, let's say, the opposite side of the sim wall, right? From the side you came in from. Does that sim wall get any value anymore?
No,
It
not the way
does.
we use it.
It does from the Junkrat, but besides that, it doesn't get any value from the 5 other players on our team, meaning it doesn't block off anything else. So in the case like this, you should call to split off the symbol in a way that it splits both teams in half, so that you can choose one side of the symbol to fight on, and still have pressure on both sides by like shield dancing or jumping from one side to the other. So when you're like pushing in, rotate the wall the other way, so you cut the point in half. So you cut off white room, half of the point, and then you can still fight where you're fighting right now, but still like choose which side you want to play on and get value from either.
Like, yeah, your symbol should kind of look like that if you want to push back into spawn, or it should kind of look something like this.
I'm
So
more so talking about that second one from pushing from spawn.
this one,
No, the other one you drew.
this one.
Yeah, because that's where they're engaging from.
Right. So, and the point of this is Junk wants to own this area. So that's fine. Let him own it. There's a sim wall there. And then you commit to this side of the wall to push their tanks out.
Okay. Makes sense.
So this is another good thing to talk about is we just got 2 picks, right? So we took out both tanks and they're going to commit beat here. This fight is very winnable in my opinion because we have our Diva, our Rhine, our Lucio, and our Mei. How do you win this fight when they commit beat?
You freeze someone and you burst them down.
Not what I'm looking for. Anyone
Like
else?
counter bait?
In this situation, never.
Okay.
No one has any thoughts? What do we do here?
Sim, and then they
Just kind of
beat,
die.
and Sim has full charge, and she melts our entire team.
Yeah.
Let's watch it back one more time, and I'm gonna keep it on this angle so we can see. Right here, where do we make the mistake?
We back up.
There you go.
Fully
Stabilize,
committed.
stabilize. Ryan, you're
Okay,
walking
okay.
at a charged sim in a Junkrat. How fast you gonna die? How fast your
Very
shield gonna go?
like 4 seconds.
And you know your
If that.
Bap's dead. You only have Lucio heals, so you can't live burst damage. You should be calling to stabilize and play off natural cover. Why
Okay.
your Mei can get a wall off, blocking something off.
Makes sense.
So
Okay.
you drop shield, you drop back, you're trying to play cover, but I don't think you've called stabilize here. Your Diva's going at Sim, and then you come back around, and then all of a sudden, we're obliterated, right? Because we recommit to the fight when they beat.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I see.
So that was a winnable fight.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, maybe, depends, like, you can play it right and still not win because you might not hit what you need to, but it could have been played better.
Right.
Uriel, do you agree?
I think it was 100% winnable if you kept the tempo you had initially and focused the right targets, right? Because you don't necessarily need to use your abilities to instantly generate value from getting something done, creating space, but rather you can use your abilities to cut off sightlines, to cut off resources that the enemy team could get. Because that was alone on point there, right?
Mhm.
If you shielded the beat, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
Right? Things like that.
Also, you may wall too early here.
We call Wind of Fire Strike this fight, I think. Oh, well, that's just unlucky.
So, what happened? Break it down. Walk through it. I want to hear some people besides Jacob talk. And it's not me just trying to get at you guys. It's the more that you guys get involved, from my experience, the more that you learn. If I ask you questions and you guys try to come up with answers, the more that you guys will take away from this.
True.
So, what went wrong here?
Um, we're not all grouped together, first off, and then Jacob got obliterated as soon as you tried to fire strike, because I'm not there to DM anything.
Okay. Anyone else? So we wall right away, but we're not in a position to capitalize on wall. So it doesn't fully block Sig off here. He can walk around. And we're still a good distance away, so you would have to commit speed to really not even get anything. And then there's sim turret stacked, which you probably wouldn't know that, so it doesn't matter. But this is a preemptive wall, and it feels like we're rushing because of this right here.
Hmm.
This goes back to like not throwing your head at things. You have a few seconds before you really have to start panicking. We know that we only have to touch at 99. We have a diva. We can always fly diva onto point and touch and then go from there. Just the point is don't panic. Keep a level head and make sure that you target call. I don't care if you have a fight plan going into this or alt plan. The biggest thing is don't panic, don't rush, don't use cooldowns you don't need, and target call.
Okay, so after the wall went down, it would have been better to just wait for wall. Is the idea? Or like, what do you
Well,
mean when
not
you say slow
not
down
wait,
in this case?
not wait for another wall, but you were playing with wall to block your damage. Like you call for window fire strike, you dropped, you get rocked. Like you were trying to call for the window fire strike, but this sig had a rock held, and this just goes off a reaction time. Like you should always block the rock before you drop it. You got hit by it, and again, it just feels like a rushed fight. Like I don't expect you guys to have a clear fight plan with 93%, going into it, but have have patience, more or less. Don't don't panic. Like a 99 here is okay. Like you have a diva that can touch. Just take your time and make sure that you're level headed going into this so you don't blow stuff you don't need to. Does
Okay.
that clear that up or?
Yeah, got it.
B, we walk. Not bad. We stabilize because we don't have BAP. That's actually really good. We hold our space. We don't overcommit. That's great.
We call a look for wall here because they don't have ultimates. So wall onto choke right side or left side or main, wherever they go. I thought it would shatter, that's why.
Uriel, did you just try to TP bomb? Or TP tire?
They did.
Yes, and in my head, the way the TP tire was gonna work, you TP the tire behind them and it not instantly explodes. I've only done TP shatter, never a TP tire. My bad.
We're backing, we're holding space. They window, we ball the window, that's great. But now this is on point, please call Sim. Tell your team Sim is backside, back point, whatever. Let your team know that they're low, like Sim low backside or whatever, Sim half, Sim half. Call it out. We walk around, we kill Sim, that's really good. Wall's still there. We're high nooning. Oh. Nice. That's a good fight, guys.
Cool.
Uriel's throwing for you, but
I gotta keep it interesting.
Did J-Man roll up to there somehow, or did he get booped up?
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Oh god, yeah.
Window fire strike. Just shatter. Break shield shatter. They do that.
so I can tell just by looking at it, we didn't understand space in this last fight. We backed up, but we didn't understand when to start retaking space. So we got ulted and we didn't really do anything. Like it just goes back to that fight planning and understand how you want to take fights and how to hold and take space. So let me back it up. Plug my headset in. I don't know why this is taking so long to load.
Yeah, that's really weird.
So we're backing, we're kiting, junks up. Our Lucio gets low. Ryan, you're kind of like looking behind you for some reason. Like you turn your shield backwards. Like
I saw the sim TP and I knew they had shatter. That's why I did that.
I know, but like the thing is like this is still the main focal point and the TP's behind. So it, I mean, yeah, it's okay, but it's just more of less just experience and judging when it happens. So Sig goes through. And your team should be calling that Ryan's like going around, like your BAP should be calling this, or they should be calling that no Ryan's through. And your diva should like both tanks shouldn't be looking at one spot. Someone should be looking here, someone should be looking here, because you're getting pinched on from the back without any pressure. Like two people walk around, we're still looking. Here they are still. No notice, no notice. We notice them, but it's too late. Shatter's already down. Shatters 3 or 4. 4, and that's the fight, right? Like we just lost track of where people were.
So, considering that I shouldn't be looking at point or like anything on that side and should be looking at like main or wherever Ryan's coming from, like
Well-
what? Yeah, go on. What were you saying?
I'm not saying that you don't have to turn and look at point. I'm saying that you and Diva shouldn't be looking at the same area when getting pinched. Like your BAP should know and call that someone's going white. Like there's a very audible sound cue of Ryan clomping through here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back to calling where people are, and echo calling, and just getting information to your main tank so you know what to do. So the main tank is kind of the focal point of a team in 6v6. If you don't have information, like you lost, right? Like you got shattered, 4-man shattered. If anyone would call, this or say, or anyone back here would say Ryan's not here, or like Sig Sim on point, Ryan's not there. You know to start looking in other areas. It's all about people speaking up and being vocal. Like I'm not saying you can't look at point. I'm saying
Mhm.
that as a team as a whole, we're unaware of where the enemy team is taking space from. We're just backing and trying to put our tail between our legs and hope that we have a chance to engage. We're just letting them walk on an alt. We're not trying to proactively counter that, right?
So what would proactively countering it look like besides like, hey, this is Ryan, he's going white, and he has shatter. Right.
That's kind of all you got.
That's it. Okay.
I mean, it all comes down to communication. If you guys can't communicate with each other, this will happen. Like I said, this fight was just a lack of pre-fight planning and a lack of space. Like, the Sim TP got him this space. They own this, right? Like we may wall it, okay, but we were completely oblivious to the rest of the map and understanding where they're taking. Like that's just how I look at it. Maybe Uriel has a different opinion on it and he wants to say something.
Okay.
Not necessarily. I think that's a good point to leave it at.
I mean, it's not like you guys did anything insanely wrong. You just lost track of where people was. That's like that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one overcommitted. No one did anything stupid. It was just you lost track of the enemy team.
Right.
And that's not just like a you thing, that's like an everybody thing, right? It all comes back to communication.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do we sim TP here? What do we do?
We do.
They whipped out a stinky, runky Ryan. Doofus.
Oh, this comp. Uriel, there's no way you guys did it to them.
They didn't do us.
It was okay, so the thought process behind it was, before the scrim I said they have a hard time adjusting to anything unusual or anything they're not necessarily seen before. So they said, let's play this, and I'm like, okay.
This is an off-meta cheese comp for this map. This point specifically. Do we know why? It's happened to you, so let's break it down.
Yep, I know why.
Why?
It's because they have a lot of cleave and we're all in one area, and then Doom one-shot someone, and then you have a lot more resources than the other team.
Okay. Sure, let's get more specific. We're back to space, right? Something that you guys are just learning to understand. Why does this comp take more space than you guys? You've already said it.
Because it pressures like one area really, really well if people are grouped.
Right. So, what this means is a map that has the TP, so they're gonna roll out. If I already know the comp, they're gonna do it right. They're gonna roll out, and they're gonna monkey and Ryan TP up here, and they're gonna Doom. And Doom's gonna jump off and hold punch, and he's gonna hit someone that's dropping off your TP. That's how the comp's meant to be played. Because it immediately, what it does, if I can get my draw pad up, it's immediately going to own this space. The goal is you have a stronger initial fight off window from element of surprise and cheese, right? Like this isn't something that you want to stick on. It's meant to literally take and hold point until you want to swap. So how do you counter that if you go into it?
You don't go into point and then you re-engage.
Both teams are sim TPing. You can't see what the enemy team's running. How do you know? You don't. So
Yeah.
what happens when you both TP up but you need to regroup? Like what are you calling to do? Like how are you going to counter the Doomfist holding very strong chokes on this map to either boop you off with a punch or play very strong corridors around him with a lot of line of sight cover? Any idea? Oh, we'll play it out and see how it goes because we're on a comp that can beat it. So
Oh, okay. Well, we swap.
yeah, I mean that's fine, but let's just see how it plays out. So EP's up. Both teams are pretty even. Here, you guys fucked this up. Anyways, we lose our Lucio. They did exactly what the comp's meant to do. Doom charges, drops, and then kills someone dropping. So you're down one. You know their comp, you know the cheese, and they cleave you. You lose fight. It did what it meant to do. So what do you do now, second fight?
Swap is what
Swap
we
to
do.
what?
Ball, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Great. This is good.
I have a question though. If they do that, what, like, we just lose, right? We can't really do anything if we're on that
Nope.
comp against it.
This is something that we ran. This is what we ran. We almost never lost point doing this. We beat contenders teams in tournaments doing this off first fight.
Should we do this in first fight?
Control is too snowbally for it to like not
Should
work.
you?
Yeah, should
No.
we?
No.
Okay.
You've never practiced it. You haven't practiced it. Let me say that. And if you lose hard. If your Doom misses or your monkey doesn't cleave right or your Rhine doesn't cleave right, you kind of lose. Like
Plus, if I remember, no one out of you guys plays Doom, nor do I want to see any of you guys play Doom.
Oh, you just wait until you see
So-
mine.
Spencer plays
Just wait
Doom.
until you see
Oh,
mine.
Spencer plays.
jeez.
so
Jonathan,
the
yeah.
these three, they know the comp. We've practiced it. We've played it in scrims. They ran it every day. Like we always started in Lijiang and practiced this comp. Like it's just something. It's there. So
So we should. It's okay for us to run out on like what we would normally do there, and
yeah,
just
it's okay to lose, right?
Well,
But
yeah.
now it's understanding how to beat that comp. So how do you beat it? You're on something that can beat it. So how do you beat it?
You take angles and you slam
Yes.
engage, get cooldowns out, look for picks on like Doom.
Cooldowns not so much. Angles 100%.
Yeah, angles basically.
So you have a core, right? What's your core? Who's your core in this comp on your team?
Wesley, what's our core?
Me and Austin.
I'm sorry, I don't know names, so if you could say characters, that would
Oh,
be
sorry. Yeah.
great.
D.Va, Zen, and then maybe Mercy Echo, but I feel like they might offer off angles. Yeah.
No. This is your core. Back to the ball tracer comp, right? Ball tracer are your offset. Ball calls the engage slams. Okay, so this is how this comp works. Let me break ball tracer down because I'm sure Uriel's done it, I would hope, but this is how I do it. You are secondary shot caller. You are first. Ball will call to dive a backline target. In this case, it's going to be someone like BAP or Symmetra.
Mhm.
They're going to call an out of position target. They're going to dive. Ball's going to slam. Our goal is if we have line of sight, we discord that target. If we don't, Tracer's still going to follow up with the ball. That target needs to die on slam. That in turn turns the fight. So say that ball tracer come through main, they come around and we pick a BAP. Now they have a chance to pinch point and core is gonna move through main. It's all about opening space with ball tracer. And you don't necessarily have to get a kill to take space. You can do what's called controlling a lane. And you might not think this map has lanes, but there is. So this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. 3 you might not think is important, but 3 can link you to 2, which in turn can also link you to 1. So if they decide to pressure out, you can take lane 3 with ball tracer and set up a pinch in a kill box. So we'll watch it, we'll see if that opportunity happens, and then I'll go more in depth about it. So they're stacking on point. They're playing around their cleave really hard. Our ball tracer is on the flank, which is really good. Our echo's poking main, and the core is playing together. So this is how you want to play it, but let's see if it executes. Tracer blinks in. Ball, you're still kind of undecisive. You should be more with Tracer,
Okay.
so you guys can commit together. You guys should be tethered almost like Mercy Echo if at all possible. So Ball, you're here, your Tracer's here, this person's countered out. This is a target for you guys to go on, which will in turn open up your main. So it's kind of opening up for Echo and D.Va. You see the team starts to look, but it's just a solo Tracer. So if this is a target you call and you call this and you're with your Tracer, this in turn means that D.Va and your other people can push into this point and start to pinch. So this would be a kill box in this room. So if you win this fight, you pinch from one angle and pinch from another angle and pinch from this angle, which is how it's setting up, which is completely fine. You're coming from 3 sides. They don't know where everyone's at, and you can quickly DPS down targets.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Slam on point. You and Tracer aren't together. That's okay. Echo kills. You die to Doom. We have 3 on point. D.Va's out main. Okay, it's sloppy. It sort of worked. It wasn't bad. It was better than I expected it to go, I'm gonna be honest. We don't hold this for long though. We should be calling stabilize. So if you know this is going bad like it is, we got split, which is okay, it's gonna happen. Especially when trying to play for a kill box, you call stabilize. These two can get out, they can kind of regroup main, and then you can retake this fight together, but this person's by themselves, they're in the back line, you're in the middle of everybody, and these two are in the front line. So it's all about understanding when to take fights. You guys are playing too fast at times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
This
my
isn't
god, look who decided to
Just
show up.
in time.
I'm
Just in time.
so this isn't bad. Our Echo Mercy are still alive. We gave point, which is completely fine. They've committed a sim wall to backside. So this goes back to last map when Uriel was talking about sim wall planning. NPC has walled you two off, so I don't know why Dummy here is looking backwards, but they should just be committing to the fight forwards like the rest of the team is, because they know that sim wall's there. And now you guys can pinch through, or they have or your front line, your core has the advantage. So if these guys back here stay looking at you two through sim wall, then you have the advantage in the front line. And this is why I said you need 2 shot callers in this comp. So Wesley, you got to be vocal, you got to speak up. And this is where you would take charge planning your kill box, because now ball's not here, but you're still in an okay position to win a 5v4. We don't engage, we back off. Ball, Tracer, please be together. Tracer, this is bad for you. You want to focus outside lanes with health packs here and here and here. Like I said, in these comps, the only person that should heal you should be a Xenorb. If you're dueling, then that means that you have the clear advantage, but shouldn't be dueling anybody because they don't have anyone that you need to duel for a lane. So you should be primary thriving off packs with ball. Ball should be the primary healing target with orb. So you two, you and ball should be working these outside lanes. Tracer taking packs or ball taking packs, it doesn't matter. I guess the other person can have heal orb from Zen. Mercy should be sticking with the rest of the team.
Is Tracer? Oh, okay, never mind.
Go ahead.
I thought he was outside left. I didn't think he was on the grass.
We commit. We get 1. They commit shatter. B. We still clean up. It's great.
I'm so sad here.
No way. I think we still won.
Uriel's ulting. So this in turn is when, like I said, you gotta be vocal, you gotta call targets. They're starting to fodder back in slowly, and you still got 1 on point, so you need to be target calling and echo calling to make sure you clean up the targets so this doesn't prolong any further.
I do.
We clean it up, they don't come back, that's good. We're just poking, Tracers playing by yourself. Ball, you're kind of in Narnia.
Mm-hmm.
Ball, you're still in Narnia.
Should I always be in the same lane as my Tracer? Because when I was doing this with Panda, he was saying that we should come from different sides.
Why would Uriel?
I mean,
Just like
okay,
the Lucio on cart scenario.
this is different, right? You go, in my opinion, you go with the ball if the Tracer cannot stage by yourself or the ball needs help getting there, right? But here, I don't think this is a point where you needed to do that. Or like, you can have ball Tracer going from different sides, Echo stay main, and you have a really, really good pinch from a lot of angles. Or you can have Echo go to one side and ball Tracer on the other and still have a really strong pinch if you send your core main, if they can survive it.
So Panda told you what him and NPC do. He didn't tell you how to do it in a general census.
Okay.
Panda and NPC have a lot of synergy together for months and months of playing. So their playstyle is a little different.
Meaning they don't have friends.
Yeah.
Damn.
Especially when you own the space, like you own a control point, you and Tracer should always be together. If you're trying to take space, that's different. Owning space and going on the aggressive is completely different. You and Ball should always be, or you and Tracer should always be together in that situation.
Okay.
Okay, so we roll through, we slam main, but because our core isn't playing together, we have we're so split, our Zen's caught out, right? So this goes back to if you and Tracer play together, your core plays on point. This doesn't happen. Your Diva takes the initial initiation, and then there's peel for your Zen with Echo, Mercy, Diva.
Ooh, what do you mean by the Diva takes initial initiation? You mean like
So let's look back at it.
okay.
So look at our Zen, okay? We know they have a tracer. What does tracer want to do? Lane control flank, right? Same thing that we need to be doing. What do? Their tracer wraps all the way around, which is Uriel. They're gonna look to pressure backline. That's what tracer wants to do. So if Diva is on point taking this fight up front, and then if we have these two right here on point, this for Uriel becomes a lot harder because they have to worry about the second healer keeping Zen alive, and they have to worry about the burst damage from Echo. Right now, Tracer's here trying to look towards the front. So we're staggered. We're 3 and 3. You're not playing a 4-2 or 4-1-1. You're playing a 3-3, leaving one of your supports open for backline dive. Does that
Mhm.
make sense?
Yeah. But what is it still? What does it like look like when Diva is taking the initial, like brunt of the damage?
So what I mean by this is, if this happens and your Mercy can keep Zen alive, and Zen gets peeled with heals or whatever from the solo dive, your Diva should be the one rotating core, which means they should be in front of everybody. So if you want to rotate back here while you guys push around and try to pinch here, your Diva is going to be eating and taking the brute of the damage. But because we don't have anyone to peel Zen, Zen takes the brute of the damage because there's no reason to focus anybody else.
So this also has to do with our Echo Mercy not playing with core, right?
Right.
So
Like though,
how would they play this?
so your Echo Mercy, like your Echo can play on point, fly up in this area, still have windows to shoot through, and very strong sight lines for very easy sticky bombs. And then if anyone walks on point, you can burn with beam, etc. And Mercy can then help your supports or whoever. Like, I know I've said that these two should be tethered, which they should be at all times, but if something gets really bad, we have Valk. She's going to AoE heal or AoE damage boost this brawl fight, right? Allowing the pinch to come through.
Okay, got it.
Uriel, you got anything to add to that?
Not. Can you say that all again? I kind of zoned out for a moment.
I'm not repeating all
Okay.
that. So Arzen's just, cut out, and then it's just kind of a cluster from there. But we'll watch next fight.
One other thing. So when I was talking to Panda about this point, he also said that it'd be ideal to engage on grass.
Yeah.
And that has to do with having lane control and like set up prior to when they get close, right? That's
Yeah,
it.
it's all about getting faster and talking about kill box. So like I was talking about your kill box here, but this isn't ideal. Like ideally you want to focus here.
Mm-hmm.
So like before they even break this choke onto point, you should already have the lane control and be swinging, and you should engage them as you're engaging Diva here. So this becomes your kill box. You have two engagements, one front, one back. Your back is going to slam whoever their support is in the back line. Generally it's going to be your BAP or your Kree, because they're the immobilized targets. You don't really want to focus tanks, you don't want to focus Diva, and you don't want to focus a Lucio. You're going to pick someone that's very stationary and very easy to burst down. So the way that it would look is if they're all stacking here and say there's 5 of them, right? And then Tracer's here, and then we're on point here, and you and Tracer swing around on ball Tracer. Say that this is Kree or BAP or even Kree here, it doesn't matter. Like whoever this back target is, because it's going to be one of them, you're just going to dive him. You're going to call it, you're going to dive, your team's going to push in, and you're going to create a pinch from 2 sides.
Okay, got it.
We do an okay job here cleaning up. What the fucking spam?
What the?
So, in like the past 4 days, I got about 15 spam discords adding me.
Is it from a server?
I don't know.
He's a cringe role player. That's all.
Yeah, it all comes from like this 5N community, honestly.
Hmm.
Ball's swinging out the touch. You get stopped by Kree.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, again, big things to take away. Ball tracer, play together, lane control, know where people are. We're still losing people on the map. Echo, communicate with each other. Call out. So these are big things to take away from it. Fight planning, kind of, it's there, but it's not. And then understanding space control, but it all kind of ties into each other. You have Hollywood and Kings Row.
You guys choose this one because I've looked at Hollywood and it looks okay if you want to look at that. Or Kings is also good because we're a brawl centric team. But also Lijiang Tower, there was one more point that we didn't look at if you also wanted to look at that.
Yeah,
Oh. Let me make sure that's right. Okay, good.
This is Eichenwald, not Kings Row.
Oh. Okay.
This is where Panda became a psychopath.
Where we got pretty much reverse swept in an Overwatch match. I don't get how it's possible, but
You guys talk shit, you get hit. That's all I'm gonna say.
Who pins there?
So what do
Coping.
we want to learn from this map? I mean, you guys played it. What'd you struggle with?
Second point, like holding it in general, I think we struggled with on brawl especially.
Are we attacking here? Yes.
One thing they were a lot if my memory serves correct, they were a lot better about it. But you know how the door opens after you cap first, right, Tyler? When the car
Mhm.
gets there. And how you want to use that time to get a lot of space. That's
Yeah.
something they struggled a lot with in the past and taking the right amount of space, etc., etc.
I want to watch defense because Static has a good explanation for this that I learned. So I want to see it happen. Okay, so we lose, right? Why are we so staggered? What happened? Hold on, I need to back this up. So all of us get bad spawn. Okay.
Wait. Oh, never mind. I'm tripping. Never mind.
Not me. This is where the incident
Oh
happened.
no.
Okay,
Here's
so
where the incident
hold on,
happened.
I'm gonna back this up even further. So let's talk about fresh second point. So we know we all get bad spawn.
Look
But
to your left a little bit.
I know there's one over here.
Okay, cool.
It's not about what you guys do here. It's about what they want to do. What does blue team want to do?
Take castle.
How do you take castle?
You go up the stairs.
Which stairs, for one?
Well, the one that's right below where your cursor is, or the top left.
This one? This one?
No, not that. Well, I guess you could, but usually that one.
Let me ask this. Who's the most important in their team to take space in this point? Who
Ryan
is the
Lucio?
most important person? It's not Ryan. It's not Lucio.
The Cassidy.
Nope.
Eva.
Baptiste.
Diva.
Diva.
Oh.
Why is Diva the most important person to take second?
Scouting.
Nope. Think about it. We've talked about space and control all night long.
She has the ability to control both high ground and low ground with a very good ability to stop resources from going to certain places which gives your teams a lot of space. And the ability is really good because there's a lot of space on second point where she can eat any abilities, any hit scans, and crossing.
Let's back this up to your guys' second point, and let's see how you play it. Cause. Okay, so Wesley, as Diva, what do you want to do to come in here? Like, how do you take all the space? Cause this point in particular in Overwatch is one of the most controversial points that it's so defender sided.
Mm-hmm.
But why? Why is it so defender sided?
Because if they set up on high ground, it's hard to rotate up there, and they can just force you out a bunch of different ways. And there's
All of what I've drawn is free territory. The only thing that can change it is Diva or a sniper. So when coming through here, Diva can contest high and you can walk under. That's why Diva is the most crucial. Now you don't always have to walk under. You can force around this way as well, and you can play under with Rhine Shield, but once you get here, you have to reassociate and go through here. These points will always win this fight unless you just aim better. And it's not always going to happen. So the key is to understanding how to hold and how to take this high ground. So if Diva flies up and contest and you speed under, you know Diva can drop here and meet you, right? So you can swing this and again pinch, right? Like this is why Diva is the most crucial person on second point. And the reason that I went back and did this is because even though this map might be a wash for this point, if you guys struggle holding or attacking this, you know if they have a Diva and they start contesting, a good team is going to start looking to rotate their people into position, just like we talked about earlier with Zarya. Diva is the distraction and eat mechanism that allows your team to walk through main choke.
Okay.
Hold on, let me actually go back and see if I have static explaining this.
Who's static?
He was Noble's coach when they got second in contenders.
Very cool.
Very cool.
He's like the discount version of me. Don't worry, guys, I got you.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
Our coach, let's go.
I doubt he pays for his players' barbecue. Is all I'm saying.
True, true.
No comment.
So let me give you some of the notes that Static talked about on this map. I just found them. They're notes. They're not. I don't have the video anymore. But basically, this goes down to do not mindlessly walk into space without having a fight plan, right? That goes back to like initiating your Diva and understanding where to go, right? Do not wait 20 seconds after a fight to start alt tracking. Stop being lazy and your fight plan instantly. So that means at the start of the fight, you should already know your fight plan and your main tank should be calling it. Listen to your DPS more than anyone else because they are how you win. So what that means is if your DPS gets someone low and they start echo calling targets from your main tank, listen to them, right? Start jumping on those targets. Your setup phases should not be 20 seconds. If you guys are not set up before you should engage or before the enemy team engages, you're setting up too slow. What that means is most teams set up here really slow. They take a lot of time tunneling in this area and they don't have a clear plan of what they want to do. If you have a clear plan of flying out your Diva and then speeding under, you can catch a lot of teams off guard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of some basic pointers. Let me see if I can look through and find some more. Um,
What if they're already like on that high ground where their diva is now, and I fly up there? Like, do I still fly up there at that case?
I think the idea is that you like get their attention and while we cross, right?
so yeah, you get their attention. They let you walk under for free, but it's still early here because you have to understand where your card is. Oh, wow, that is large. But yeah, it just basically means that like, so like you guys are walking under, right? Like they let you walk under. This is what you want to do. This is where you want to be. Right? We walk up, we have one on cart, and we take the fight. Like that's generally the plan. They let you do it. Let's skip ahead.
The only difference is simple. You would go up, and then once you know that there's like 3 up there, you would drop down, and then we would have rotated in, and then you could have pinched
Yeah.
when we got to the top.
And I can go up again. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just on a 3
This
second
isn't a
cooldown.
good example, but I hope I'm explaining it well.
And that's in general, not just when you like just take first and they're staggering in, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's yeah.
So here, like we give up height, right? Like they have height, just like they let you get. So they're pushing around, they have all this free space, we're peeling, lamp goes down, and we're kiting backwards, right? We're regrouping. We know they own all this space, so what do we want to do to get it back?
We're gonna take top left with window fire strike, I believe, and then look for break shield shatter.
Not what you did, what do you want to do?
Oh, well, we want to take high ground. Sorry, is that what you mean?
Uriel, run a fight plan down for them. Like,
For their offense right now, or for their
yeah,
defense.
for their offense.
I mean, right now your guys are kind of forced to push us off high ground, because if you go onto cart, you're still screwed from us shooting down on you, right?
Yeah.
So I think the best thing you guys would have to do is, if you ult track correctly, you know what we have. If we're playing for Dragon Shatter, you have to be aware of that. Going high ground, there's a long path to where you actually really need to go, right? Because your main goal is just to force us off, but not really like win the fight. So I would speed under, and once we have under, I would window once we're going up or once we're nearly up, and from there just hold shield and use diva to eat as much spam as possible and just take the space like that. Because if you die here, you nearly lose second point.
Why not take the high ground, like the upper path to high ground?
Why are you gonna take hide at all?
Because look how far you're having to walk there, and look where you actually need to be.
Why take height at all?
So let's go back to choke points.
Okay.
You guys know what choke points are, right?
Yeah.
Choke point 1's down here, choke point 2, choke point 3, choke point 4. Where's the cart?
It's past choke point 2.
How do you contest this? Like Uriel just said, you have to force height, right?
Mm-hmm.
If this continues to move up and it starts nearing 3, this changes a lot of things, right? With them being up here, what does it change? It changes this, it changes high ground. You're not forced to try and hold the cart back anymore. You know that this is free space. Like if you look at choke points on the map for payload maps, and you understand that if a cart is here, you know you're in a really bad spot to hold it. So let's say the cart is here. What would you do? Jacob?
Maybe take under, and then I'm not sure. Like I would. What I would do normally is take the high ground still, but I'm
why would you? So here's what I'm trying to get the point across
Yeah.
is this is pretty much free space. They own this, right? Like we've talked about space control all night.
Okay.
So you know if you rotate high and this cart continues to push while you rotate, they can drop and still just walk and rotate. And then you're forced to rotate back and they gain more free space. So if you just give them the allotted free space, if you look at the 4 choke points, you can turn a fight on this corner. You have natural cover here and here. You can put supports or snipers back here. And you can take the fight at this choke point while continuing to scout and poke because you have a Hanzo, right? You
Okay.
don't have to always take high ground. If you know something is gone, you don't have to force this. You don't have to brawl into them when they have more ults. You can take the second to regroup, breathe, and start looking for better opportunities. Payload maps are all about choke points. Every map has very hard choke points to break. I'm sure you guys know this, but forcing into bad chokes is what will get you killed and give up points. So if you're forcing into this, they have the clear advantage. Your alt plan, anything that you do can be countered by what they have. Like you're just hoping for the best. You're hoping that you're the better team. If you come through here and try to fight this choke point or even a little sooner, yes, they still have high ground, but you can run the flank. You can use your diva to force. You can use your pressure. Diva can still try to pinch. You're not always forced into trying to pressure them where they're currently on the map. Always try to think about your advantages of the map. And this is the big thing about Overwatch. It's the same with like TF2. This isn't like Valorant or CS:GO. It's the map is not just one dimensional and you're attacking bomb sites. This is constantly moving and constantly going back if people are on it or off of it. Choke points are your friend. You can give up space to take minimal ground. Like your diva can loop through here, start gathering information. You can shield your team out, start looking for Hanzo arrows. Maybe you pick one, and then you have a second to fight plan and see what they're doing before you start engaging. This is such a bad fight that I would never tell anyone to take this. You're forced into small chokes. You have to group. You have to stagger, and they have shatter. Like if you don't block shatter, you lose the fight immediately. You know you already lost. They have dragon. These are all very big dragon chokeholds. Spread the map out. Take your information, and hope that you can poke. Right, like you're on Kree Hanzo. You can do damage from afar. You're not forced to brawl in tiny locations. You're not set up for that. Yes, you're on a brawl comp, but the point of this and the point of talking about this high ground is understanding that Diva can take space and make things happen so you don't have to fight in optimal situations. This castle is a fucking, sorry for my language. This castle is a nightmare. Okay? Like whoever owns this is probably going to win that fight. And retaking it is no easy task even if you have ults because of these choke points. Like if you come through here in speed, this Ryan can shatter. If you come up through here and try to window fire strike, they might do the same thing. Like there's no guarantee that you can walk away from this fight a success unless you're the better team. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Okay, so if we wanted to hold 3 or choke point 3, I feel like it would be really hard to get the same or like good enough value to like win that fight because they're on high ground. Like it seems like just a disadvantage in general if you're holding there.
So you understanding the map is crucial to this. So you have this area and all of this area and it loops back. Like you're not forced to take a full on fight. You're playing Kree Hanzo. You have to rely on your DPS. That's why DPS are so important. Listen to your DPS. If they call one low, then these DPS need to be communicating with each other and aiming at the same target. The same as D.Va focusing that target if they can fly and finish them and then drop lower. Like, if your Hanzo hits this person without DM up and you're playing through here, this D.Va can drop lower and be an LOS of heals, and your heals are going to have you and natural cover to play around. Like, it's just understanding the map. Like, you can rotate, you can speed back around. There's a lot of things that you can do. This height, don't just think it's win or lose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're forcing yourself into inoptimal chokes playing through here.
Okay.
Uriel, do you agree or disagree with me?
I agree. Just my sole issue is if you go down lower, and you just have to know how to play it right. If you want to like win out and be steady, you have, in my opinion, you take the riskier fight if you think you're able to. But that's how I see it.
But you backed up what I said. The better team wins high ground,
Yeah,
right?
100%.
Mm-hmm.
My goal with you guys is not to always tell you that you're going to be the better team, because you're not. I took
For the tournament,
before
you guys are.
before Uriel even joined, Panda and the people that he was with was a 3.9 team. I took them all the way to 4.5 in such a short time, and it wasn't just me, it was a lot of people. But this is how we did it, right? We taught them to play fundamental Overwatch. And a lot of the stuff that I've learned, I didn't know until I started managing and having teams. I learned it from the coaches and setting in on VODs and coaching with them. And I'm not saying that the next time you play this map, this is going to work for you. It's just understanding that you always have options. You don't always have to force fights. You don't always have to throw your head at the wall and hope that you're the better team, to hope that your DPS carry the fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. Okay.
So we're fighting a 5v6 and we lose because of chokes. Dragon gets one immediately. We're forced inopportune. We're blowing a lot of cooldowns, just taking space. And Cart's still moving at this time.
And it's at the choke you were talking about. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Like, Lucio was completely irrelevant. He just sat on Cart. So we lost a 5v6. Let's see how we regroup. Nice pick. How far do you want to push out here?
Well, they had 2 people dead, so it makes sense to push out more, but not past the bridge.
Okay, that's good. Like, this is like kind of like max. Like, you don't want to go past this. Like, if you start going past this, if they have one off on a flank, like, they can fly. Like, if it's a ball, you can get booped. If it's a Lucio, like, going past this threshold is pretty bad, because then if, say, this or this dies, now they gotta go all the way back to spawn, you gotta retreat, and you can get staggered. But if you stay here, like, you can stabilize, use natural cover.
Okay.
This is an overcommitment that I think Uriel might talk about, but we got away with it.
I mean, like when you're pushing up and doing things like that, you have to think about the distance you have to walk back.
Yep.
I like this play. You guys might not.
This is a good hold. Like, we're holding good here. You really overcommit here. We're burning lamp. You're forced to actually turn and run and drop shield. And we die for it. So
Mm-hmm.
that, like, that's exactly what he said. You pinned out, you went to their spawn door, right? Like, you gotta remember, their spawn door is just on the other side of that bridge. you can't backpedal that without your shield breaking, so.
Okay. Yeah.
You
see.
you can backpedal this area, right, without your shield breaking,
Oh yeah.
so.
Mm-hmm. Then we have to go up corner for it. Makes sense.
Dragons both ways, we beat. Both beat. Not a bad shatter, just not a lot of follow-up. You're also still fighting in a window, keep that in mind. I don't know if we needed to commit bomb there. They regroup. We used a lot in that fight, honestly. And that just goes back to knowing what you want to use in what fight and when you have to call it a regroup. Uriel has dragon again. He splits our team with dragon and they force. So do you know what I mean by split our team? You guys are forced up here and your supports, one support was back here and they can't rejoin the fight for at least like 2 to 3 seconds. And you guys are just basically cut off. It's just like a Symmetra wall, but not as good. So
Mhm.
be mindful of like when that happens that your team may be split, even if they don't call it. I'm gonna be honest, you guys played really sloppy throughout that hold and they just played better.
Mm-hmm.
It's just them being higher SR in my opinion.
Also, they got so cocky. I got so much in my ear because I told them if they won 3 maps, I'd buy them KBBQ. But I heard
Yeah.
so much in my ear about you guys lost. LLLLL. And the same thing is gonna happen in your tournament tomorrow, right? If you get cocky, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna play sloppy. You're gonna try and play your tempo when you really can't. It's one of those situations.
Okay.
I mean, I don't want to give you guys any more information because I feel like it might overload you. Because we just hit on a lot of the same stuff every map with a little bit added on.
Mm-hmm.
You guys have any questions?
Can you rank the How to Train Your Dragons movies for me right now?
No.
Oh damn.
I've never seen one of them, to be honest with you.
No
Oh,
shot.
what?
Wait,
Oh
what?
boy.
Reported.
Wait, but why is
Um,
Toothless your profile picture then?
I was gonna send you
Like,
my How to
so-
Train Your Dragon Funko Pop collection.
So, like Uriel said, I'm a boomer, and I was scrolling through Discord stuff, and Mike had picked it up.
I see.
Okay, that's a W reason then.
My first child with this guy, I hear a child screaming in the background for 2 hours.
Mm.
Don't start with me, Uriel.
Okay.
Well, can we all say thank you, Tyler?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
Tyler.
Tyler.
See, they all love you, Tyler.
I'm not gonna lie, it's been a very long time since I've done a VOD review. Uriel.
No, it's fine. It's been a very long time since I played this game at a high level.
But, I mean, if you guys take away at least one thing from this, then it's beneficial, right? Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was helpful.
Pogu.
Cool.
Good luck
so when's your
tomorrow,
guys'
boys.
first match?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
I think so. Yeah, too.
Yeah.
It It is at 2.
It's such a weird time too.
Yeah.
It's because it's based around East Coast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Stupid high school events, bro.
It's tomorrow at 2, and it's the like 4K team, I think.
It's the best team in the tournament.
Let's see,
Us,
3.7,
of course.
3.9, 4.1, 3.7, and then 2 privates.
Yeah, they're pretty decent.
I think you guys have a really good shot of winning it.
That's the hope,
As long
but
as we played as well as we did against you guys the last time, I am pretty confident.
And before the match tomorrow, I'll be on. We can all play a little. We can all get our spirits up. We can all do some fun stuff. Get our mental in the right place. Get our mind in the right place. Energy, energy, energy. So if we can all be on, I'll make a point. I'll tag everyone. If we can all be on in like maybe noon-ish, chill, talk, get ready. It'll be really good.
okay.
I can be there
Sounds
for a
good.
little bit. I leave at like 1, so I'll be there to pep talk you.
Yeah,
I think
Spencer.
I think I'll be able to hit top 500 again before the game.
Bro,
So
that is so cursed.
Spencer and Wesley, bro. They both got it.
Oh yeah, I'm a couple games off. Yeah.
That's
Uriel,
insane.
you want to play tonight?
Tonight.